Chapter 9. I've known Frankie Townsend since before we were born. Our moms always tell stories about how they used to walk in the park together when they were pregnant with us. We've been through lots of tough times together. When Frankie fell off the jungle gym in preschool, he didn't want to cry in front of everyone. I stood in front of him so the other kids couldn't see him cry. When I peed in my pants in kindergarten, just before the Thanksgiving pageant, Frankie gave me an extra pair of pants he kept in his cubby. And he never told anyone about my accident. We've had a few fights, like the time we were camping, and I ate the whole Three Musketeer bar and didn't save him a bite. I tried to tell him I saved him the wrapping because it was made of real silver, but he didn't go for it. Still, in all of our 10 years together, I had never seen Frankie Townsend so as mad as he was that night. I tried to explain what happened, how the numbers on the television were going too fast for me. In the middle of my explanation, he picked up his sleeping bag and stormed out of the room. "Where are you going?" Ashley asked him. "I'd rather sleep with the twins than stay in here with him," he said. If I didn't know before how mad he was, that clinched it. Our friendship was over. I started to pace around the room. "He's never going to talk to me again," I said to Ashley. "Every time he sees me from now on, he's going to ignore me." I stopped pacing. What happens if we're in an elevator together? We're just going to stand there in total silence looking at the floor numbers change? "Hank," Ashley said, "would you like me to try to talk to Frankie?" "It won't do any good, Ash. I've just lost my best friend." "I'll be your best friend," Robert volunteered. Why was that not helping? "Hey, want to get a slice and a Coke after school on Monday?" The clueless one went on. "Robert, do I have to draw you a map?" I said. "I can't have this conversation right now. And besides, you're not best friend material." "I think he is," Emily said. "Fine," I said. "Then you and Robert can be best friends. Have fun counting iguana scales. And think of me because my life as I know it is over." "Hank," Ashley said, "Frankie is just mad. He really, really, really wanted to see that movie." "Rub it in," I said. "Don't you think I know that?" "Give him some time to get over it," Ashley said. "He'll cool down. You'll say you're sorry. He'll say, 'Hey, that's okay, Zip,' and everything will be back to the way it was." What Ashley didn't understand was that to me, this was about more than taping a movie for Frankie. This was Frankie realizing that he couldn't trust me. Why would anyone want a best friend that he couldn't trust? I always knew this was going to happen, that one day Frankie would finally see I wasn't a friend worth having. He's so smart, he can do everything. And what can I do? I mean, what can I do? My brain was going a mile a minute, and I must have said something like, "What can I do?" out loud, because when I looked up, Emily was answering me. "You can ask me to help you next time," she said. Could this be? My sister was offering first aid to me? Really, Hank? If there's something you can't do and I can, why not ask for help? This was Emily Gray's zipper talking. "Easy for you to say," I answer her. "Do you know how hard it is to live with Miss Perfect? It's embarrassing for me to admit that I need help from you when you're 17 months younger than me. I would look like a complete idiot." "I'm not perfect, Hank," Emily said. She actually sounded nice. "I think you are," Robert piped up. I think he surprised himself because as soon as he said it, his ears turned bright red, like he was wearing 2 beads attached to his head. "Robert, do you really think so?" Emily said. She was doing that maple syrup thing with her voice again. "I'm going to find Frankie," I said. "I'll come with you," said Ashley. "Listen, Ash, I think I need to talk to Frankie myself." Ashley nodded. I knew she'd understand, even if it meant she had to stay alone in the den with Mr. Nerd and Miss Nerdess. She's the kind of person who'll do a thing like that for a friend. I went upstairs looking for Frankie. He wasn't in any of the upstairs rooms, so I went back downstairs. Finally, I found him in his sleeping bag under the dining room table. "What are you doing here?" I asked. "I couldn't sleep," Frankie said. "What do you want?" I want to say I'm sorry, I told him. Sorry doesn't help, he said. I didn't answer. It was so easy, Hank, he said. There was a lot of frustration in his voice. I waited so long, and it was so easy. All you had to do was punch in 3 numbers and push the record button. Anybody can do that. I can't, I said. Just because it's easy for you doesn't mean it's easy for me. Can we not talk about this? Frankie said. We can talk about it. When can we talk about it? I asked. I don't know. Later. Sometime. Whenever. When? When we get back to the city. All right? Good night. I wanted to go on, but Frankie pulled his sleeping bag over his head in a way that left no doubt that he was done talking. Good night, Frankie, I said. He didn't answer.